It happens. Yeah. One, two, three. It's good. I don't hear myself. Yeah. So we located the coast. So maybe the first 8 minutes of our live chat will be removed later. Sorry for that. We are starting again. So
Yeah,
for those, I'm with Assaf Morami, who is who work at the Secret Labs. Is it correct to say work? You're not co-founded, right? You
yeah.
work there. So, uh, I know you're a highly technical guy. You help to solve the issues with Cosmos. I think you are high up on the level of understanding Cosmos, but I'm just the user, right? And we are going to speak of the privacy today.
Yeah.
And I want to understand, how do I need the privacy from the level of the user? Because I saw your partner prepared some subjects. We might touch upon that. But many of the sentences I don't even understand. I tell you what I want, what I expect from crypto, and how does Secret actually help me to solve this. I want to um, use crypto, the decentralized finance, and have control over my funds. With that, I like to speculate on the crypto and make money, because people seems to drive adoption. It's of course not main purpose of crypto, but it drive adoption. I would love to use the applications, whether it's social or not, the NFTs, but most important for me is great user interface that allows me to do it in the better manner that the Web 2. And it feels that bringing privacy make it all difficult. So why should I be even concerned about privacy?
That's a loaded question. Um, I don't know. Why do you have a front door to your house? Why do you wear clothes? Like, if you don't care about your privacy,
Hmm.
um, like having privacy doesn't mean that you have anything to hide. Um, it just like I think it's even like harder for me to explain why privacy matters. I think it's just like a
Why
human
should
right.
we care about this? More like
In
it.
blockchain,
Hmm.
so I can maybe explain what secret network is, but
Please go on. Yeah.
the end result of having privacy on blockchain is that you can implement a whole new range of applications that you can't on public blockchains like Ethereum or Juno or Osmosis, for example. So maybe let's go over secret network a bit,
Hmm.
and then we can dive into examples, which are pretty cool. I think you'll love it.
Hmm.
So Secret Network is a Cosmos-based chain with permissionless cosmosm, um, with the only difference of having private inputs, outputs, and storage for contracts. So we get privacy by making all nodes use Intel SGX, which is a trusted hardware inside the CPU that lets you run computation over encrypted data. So even the nodes themselves can see what they are running.
Hmm.
Um, then inside SGX, we're running permissionless cosmosm, so users can send encrypted transactions, and only inside SGX, the contract can decrypt the user input and calculate the result. Then the result is encrypted back by the contract, so only the user can decrypt it on their machine and see the result.
Hmm.
So um, lost my train of thought. So the last thing is that each contract also has a private key to encrypt its own storage. So for example, a token contract or an NFT, um, in an NFT, for example, you can have private balances and private ownership stored in the state of the contract. So, for example, on a CW20 contract, token contract, because the state of the contract is encrypted, you can store their private balances and also implement private transfers. You get this out of the box by default. Um, just because you can see the inputs, so you don't know
Mm-hmm.
who am I transferring to, and then you can see the state of the storage of the contract, so you don't know how many tokens I have and how many tokens anyone have. So you get that for free.
Mm-hmm. Can, I want to understand, because let's say if I interact with the application, what I understand secret, it is smart contract platform which allows you to build the application similarly as on other layer ones like Ethereum, Solana, and Juno. But does this application, which this is the thing I cannot fully understand, those applications are secret, is it correct? So you can interact with the application, but your interaction within the application is not visible to the. It's not the public knowledge. Is it correct? How I see it?
Uh, Sort of. So, for example, the source code is public,
Mm-hmm.
and the contract is like the existence of the contract is public.
Mm-hmm.
And when I interact with a contract, everyone can see that I interacted with the contract. They just can't see what function am I running and what is the input and output of the transactions that I'm sending to the contract.
Mm-hmm. So for example, if I would interact and I do some swaps, they are not visible what I'm doing, right?
Yeah, so that depends on the implementation of the
Mm-hmm.
AMM.
Mm-hmm.
For example, because in AMMs you also need to have price discovery. So
Mm-hmm.
new user can see the current price and decide if they want to swap or not.
Mm-hmm.
So by default, if you look at to have price discovery, you have to publish the contract, have to expose the size of the pools. So
Mm-hmm.
if you query the size of the pools before each transaction and after each transaction, you can like decipher or decode what the swap was. So the AMM contract need to add another layer of security on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, um, on secret network um, you can have a contract that does not necessarily expose the real pools, just like an estimation. So, uh, but I can promise you that the price is going to be correct
Okay.
when you run the transaction, and then you can add layers of abstractions depending
Mm-hmm.
on the application. So for example, for AMMs on secret network, you get front running resistant by default because inputs are encrypted. So the mempool is encrypted, so MEV bots cannot see what's going to happen, so they can't front run your transactions. Same with lending protocols with liquidations. Um, you can also implement, for example, on AMM, private LP position, or on money markets, private liquidation levels and position and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Um. So what? Because for secret to exist, we have to define the certain problem. And now when you interact with the blockchain, could you tell me what are the problems and what steps I leave public? Let's say when I use Ethereum network and I interact with OpenSea, Uniswap, and is there any dangers that this expose me to?
Yeah, so first of all, on Ethereum and any other chain for that matter, everything is public. So
Mm-hmm.
your balance is public and your transaction history is public. So maybe you say that you don't care about it right now, but maybe in the future you will interact with someone who then will be able to look at your wallet and see your entire transaction history and your
Hmm.
entire DeFi positions, like LP positions and borrow and lending positions. Um, you will able to see how, he will able to see how much like money do you have and stuff like that. In addition, in Uniswap, for example, because the input of the transaction is public, bots, MEV bots can look at the input before it's committed to on the chain, and then front run you, and you get a worse price by them attacking you like that.
Hmm.
So if you protect against it, you get a better price if you have front run resistance.
Yeah, the front running is quite common when when you're trying to swap something, and it's the common issue.
Yeah.
But like you said, people can know. I think public being on public ledger brings more transparency in some ways, right? Because if that would be the institution on the blockchain, you want that this organization to be public. So let's say, like the example, if the government spending would be done one day on the blockchain, you actually want that to be public. You don't want that organization to work as shady organization. But also, like, because we create the wallet, we don't have the name attached. It is public ledger, but we do exist anonymously, right? You don't know my wallet is there, and people could find the transaction, but they don't know it attached to me. So why do I need something more than this?
Yeah, so there's a couple points that I can address maybe. The first thing is
Hmm.
that I don't think that you're saying that you want it to be public, but you don't want it to be public, you want it to be auditable.
Hmm.
You want that someday, if the government asks you for the details, you will be able to give them all of your details and for them to be able to verify it, but you don't want everyone in the world to be able to see your details.
Hmm.
So having privacy doesn't mean like no one knows anything. It just means that you have the power to share your data
Hmm.
with whoever you want. So at the end of each year, you can export all of your history and state, and then send it to the government, and then also help them verify this on chain.
Hmm.
Um, but if it's public, then not only the government can see, and these organizations that you want to be able to see, everyone in the world will be able to see.
Yeah. You see, I wonder, because with the Web 2, the most valuable product that we have probably is the data, right? Because we can easily monetize the data. If we have the data of the users, you can easily monetize on that and create a great business. And I wonder if the privacy doesn't really ruin that and remove the kind of commercial aspect of the network. Because if you build the application on secret, but you cannot play with the data in any way in the advertisement maybe or anything like this, how do you monetize the application? And with that, how the application are able to um, sustain?
Yeah, so I don't know about like marketing and
Mhm.
advertisement, um, but if you interact with an application, then you choose what to share, what data to share with that application. So I don't know like if you really care about organizations using your data for advertisement. Like I don't know if that's a valid use case for them. Maybe
Mhm.
they need to find another use case to monetize. Maybe you have the power here to decide that they are not getting your data
Mm-hmm.
to monetize. It's not
Mm-hmm.
theirs to monetize. You choose what to share with them.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's a really good point. Like if you can actually choose, right? That's way better. Like I think if you can have like your own control over that instead of like them choosing for you. So um the Alex was asking because you rely on Intel SGX, and do you think it is safe? Like is there should be there any concerns
yeah,
regarding that?
that's
Like
a good question. Does Intel rely? Yeah, we do rely on SGX. It is a problem. We are looking into ways of replacing SGX in the future.
mm-hmm,
We don't like that reliability on SGX. Um, Maybe there's a backdoor, maybe there's not. It's Intel's reputation here.
mm-hmm,
But from the research that we did, that Secret Labs did like years back, 7 years back, and still ongoing, SGX is currently the best solution out there. The next best solution is fully homomorphic encryption, which lets you run computations on encrypted data, but with just software and cryptography rather than relying on a trusted hardware. But that's just super, super, super slow. It's not usable at the moment. But we are looking into ways of migrating from SGX to fully homomorphic encryption, but probably won't be in the next like 2 years.
mm-hmm,
Um, but yeah, the reliance on Intel is, we don't like it either, but it's just like the best solution right now, and we do want to explore building applications with privacy.
mm-hmm,
So if you assume that you trust Intel right now with HGX and you want to build blockchain applications with privacy, like for example poker or any other game, or implement AMMs with private swap and stuff like that, then uh, you can explore that right now with Secret Network.
mm-hmm. If you don't mind, like I want to ask you like about security. This is my friend asked me that, and this is regarding bridges. Because the secret network does have their own bridges, right?
Yeah, we do have bridges to Ethereum and Binance Smart
Yeah.
Chain and Monero.
Don't you think that these bridges that you have the certain issues, the very similar issues that Harmony One did before? You rely on the multi-sig address of few people. Is
Yeah,
it do you plan to change it? Don't you think this is a very dangerous reliance? Because if the members of multi-sig get hacked, you endanger the whole network with your bridge.
yeah, that's correct. It's just like worth mentioning that those bridges are from December of 2020,
Hmm.
so almost 2 years old,
Hmm.
way before IBC and way before the wormhole hacks and now the
Hmm.
Norman hack, no, Normand hack and stuff like that. So yeah, we wanted to extend our reach to Ethereum and to provide privacy for like coins on Ethereum and
Hmm.
on BSC and stuff like that. And that was the best solution that we could come up back then, like 2 years ago. Yeah, now we are exploring ways of migrating those bridges to Axelar and Gravity Bridge. Um, so we will probably migrate in the next few months.
Yeah, that's really cool because someone was actually saying why you don't do it the way the Axelar does, or even Nomic bridge. I'm not sure if you explore that. You actually have to
Yeah,
exploit whole network instead of like just few few members of the multi-sig, right? So
Yeah. So these are like cutting edge solutions, and like these are all
mhm.
new solutions. Like Axelar is very new, Nomic is very new.
Yeah,
So yeah, we are looking into ways of migrating, but it takes time, and we have, I think, at least $10 million on the Ethereum bridge, so it's not that easy to migrate.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um, Someone is asking, I don't know, because that's not maybe. I mean, you will be using that bridge, so it's kind of related to secret. Like, could you tell them like why Acceler is the right solution and why it would be secure solution?
I'm sorry, like I don't know.
Okay.
My VP of engineering is exploring this right now, and like I don't know
Yeah.
how XLR is working and why it's more secure. Like I don't know.
What's your favorite language? You use Cosmosm, so I would guess, is it Rust or not really?
Yeah, I like Rust. I like Go. Like
Yeah. Do,
those are the languages that we're developing with.
right. Um, why do you like Cosmosm? What advantages it brings, and why Secret decided to use Cosmosm?
Yeah. So back in like February of 2020, Secret Network was launched as a vanilla Cosmos chain,
Mm-hmm.
Cosmos SDK chain, and then we worked closely with Ethan and Simon from Confio
Mm-hmm.
to bring Cosmos into a state where it's production ready. So back then we really like just when we saw Cosmos, it just clicked for us because
Mm-hmm.
it was super simple to write contracts compared to Solidity. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then you write it with Rust, which is like a mainstream language, and you get all the tooling and support from the Rust community. And Solidity is its own language and
Mm-hmm.
has its own tooling just for Ethereum. And it's really just overall not a good language to write programs in.
Mm-hmm.
It has a very like a few major annoying bugs, um, like regarding reentrancy and stuff like that, which Cosmwasm doesn't have. It's much more elegant and just like a lot funner. It's fun to write contracts with Cosmwasm compared to like Solidity.
Is it easy to learn for someone who never did programming?
I think if you don't know how to program, maybe you don't need to learn how to program a bit. But
Mm-hmm.
with basic programming skills, you can, I think,
Mm-hmm.
start developing
Yeah.
CosmWasm very easily. Like Rust has a reputation of a hard to learn language, but the Rust that we use to write CosmWasm contracts is a very simplified version of Rust. So
Mm-hmm.
only the basic features that you have in every other programming language. So I think it's very easy to start writing contracts in CosmWasm.
Mm-hmm. Um, let's get back to secret because that's what so we spoke about DeFi, right? So with secret, if you want to get the best price, you would use secret because you cannot be front run, but you can also build a DeFi system that allows you to to do private lending, because what I understand with the current DeFi platforms, I guess Aave is right,
Yeah.
and others, if you use that, they are all public. So can you tell me how does the private lending works, maybe on example me and you, if that's possible, what we would do, and what are the benefits of that? Yeah.
It works just the same.
Mm-hmm.
Should be the same UX, just that your positions are private. Only you know how much did you borrow and how much did you lend. So like
Mm-hmm.
hard for me to answer that question because like it should be the same, just your positions are private.
But you also allow the bad actors to function, is it correct? Like it's not a blame, but actually you cannot avoid it. So let's do an example. Like everyone is fixated on a place like North Korea, right? Um, but secret network essentially allows North Korea to exist in the financial system of the network and use the lending to fund the let's say military expansion, right? Is it correct?
I guess so. Like we don't discriminate, but yeah, if
Mm-hmm.
like we never encountered this situation before, that that we saw criminals using the network,
Mm-hmm.
and so like I don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah, but yeah, like I know this is like like completely non-technical and more like you know f- don't want to say philosophical question, but with I'm trying to address the recent issue with like tornado, right? Because it kind of seems that the secret network can be put in danger just because the bad actors will decide to use it. And is there a way for the governments to cause issues for the secret network, or it rather shouldn't be related? Like,
Yeah, that's way above my pay grade, let's say. But I
hmm
think there was always the risk with transactional privacy, like
hmm
services that only offer transactional privacy always carry that risk of like governance don't like in it, and using and sanctioning it. But with
yeah,
secret, we don't focus on the transactional privacy. Like you get that for free just by having tokens,
hmm
but secret itself is not private. It's just like a
hmm
regular Cosmos coin. And then we focus more on uh, applications use case like NFTs, which gets
hmm
privacy by default. DeFi applications which are now
can
frontline resistant, gaming. Yeah,
can we talk of the NFTs? Because like the whole thing I know about NFTs, I actually tried to use Stash a few months ago, and I didn't like it. I must tell you, because it was um uh, the user experience wasn't as good as I had with some other platforms. I spoke to some people. It's very different now, and it actually changed. Like, but that was a few months ago. But the big event that was the I think it gave big exposure to secret was the Quentin
Tarantino.
Tarantino NFTs, and also I think Kevin Smith, right, is working with this. So can you tell me how these secret NFTs work?
Yeah, so yeah, secret NFTs are just like any regular NFTs, except that you can also have private
Mm-hmm.
ownership of NFT, and you can also have private metadata in addition to public metadata.
Right.
Um, so, for example, on tradition like public blockchains, um, you can see who owns what tokens and also every metadata because all the metadata because everything is public. So in the metadata, you will usually see like a link to a monkey image or stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
an ape image.
Mm-hmm.
On Secret, you can also have a private metadata. So, for example, to that ape image, you can have private traits like a secret background or stuff like that. Or if we take it more seriously, you can have private information that only the owner can see.
Mm-hmm.
If you use NFTs for gaming, for example, let's say that you have a game that each character in the game is an NFT.
Mm-hmm.
And on the public metadata, you can see like the main, you can see the description of the character, like how it looks and stuff like that. And then in the private metadata, you can have like um, like secret traits, like secret powers for that character.
Right.
So when we engage in battle, for example, me and you, um, in battle we can use the secret powers to maybe add like to spice things up in the in game,
That's very cool. That's
for
the
example.
so
Yeah,
so like if I have the picture of the monkey, right? The first, let's say that's the first wave of the NFTs. I have two choices. um I can make it public so people can see my monkey and I can be like, I have really good looking monkey. But I can choose so people cannot see it and I only know what is the monkey. So I, when I meet the people, I can show them on my phone, looks, that's my cool monkey, but never knows I have it, right? That's how it
yeah,
works.
yeah. For example,
So with the Tarantino, um no one knows what was the NFTs. Correct.
Yeah. So Tarantino really like he knew what NFT were before he knew about Secret Network, but when he heard of Secret Network, he like it clicked for him that he can put like secret data in the NFT and only the buyer will be able to see that data. So he put there some like very nice Easter eggs
Yeah.
about Pulp Fiction, the movie, that only the buyer of the token could see. Like he he liked that it's like a private screening, a private showing um, of the movie for not the movie, but like parts of
But
the
mhm.
yeah
But when if the user would choose to make it public now, they can do it.
yeah yeah of course.
But
Like you
they
bought
didn't
it.
do, right? They keep it secret.
Yeah,
And that was the issue because studio said like, despite not knowing what is this, no one knows what it is. I believe maybe few people does. They said, hey, it's possible that you exposing something that belongs to, like, selling something that belongs to us.
yeah,
But if it's secret, they are unable to know if it belongs to them or not, right?
yeah. So
But
there's a legal, like I don't know how to call it. I'm not that well versed in the details. So
paradox, legal paradox will be good
yeah,
name.
maybe.
Mm,
Like Tarantino said what's in there, but only the buyer, the current owner, like really knows what's in there, and Tarantino.
right. And the price that was paid, was it private as well?
No, the price was I think $1.1 million.
But wasn't five NFTs?
Yeah,
Or
there were seven, and then the first one sold for $1.1 million, and then they decided to stop the sale because the market crashed like 2 days after the sale, and they were afraid that
right.
the rest of the NFTs won't like will suffer because of market conditions. So they are still waiting to
So
sell
there's
the
only
rest.
one Tarantino NFT out.
Yeah, 1 out of 7 out.
Right. How does the price gets discovered if the art is secret? Because let's say if I want to buy Picasso art, I buy it because it's beautiful, because I
Yeah,
see.
so the
So
sale was on Ethereum. The
right.
sale of the token was on Ethereum because the Tarantino team said that this is where the best liquidity is. Like back
Hmm.
at the time, it was I think like in January maybe, like
Hmm.
6 7 months ago, and then the owner can bridge the token to Secret Network. We developed like a bridge specifically for the Tarantino
Yeah.
NFT, and then on Secret they could like see the private data.
So the buyer did know what is buying.
No, like they only know after they bought it, they could
Right.
decrypt it, like reveal what's in there.
Right. Do you think this is useful for the art, not knowing what you're buying, or for the NFTs? Just personal opinion.
I don't know, like I think the buyer felt
Yeah.
that it's useful and Tarantino too. But like if we take for example the Kevin Smith NFT,
Mm-hmm.
um, Kevin Smith shot an independent film
Mm-hmm.
and decided to sell the film as an NFT, the movie.
Yeah.
So it was, I think, a series of 5,555 tokens.
Right.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and inside the private data, the buyer, there's a link to the encrypted movie and a password.
Mm-hmm.
So the buyers, like the 5,000 buyers, would be able to watch the movie like a private
Mm-hmm.
screening, like a premiere or something like that.
Right. Considering the gaming, because that's really cool option, right? Like I mean we are still far away from the gaming. I don't even think it exists yet on the blockchain. There is some attempts, but we don't have. But you see, Patrick commented that the secrecy could destroy. You know what he means, like the if you play the card game, like uh
Yeah, I
you
can maybe like get like I'm not sure what he means, but לא יודע. But gaming on secret is really cool
Mhm,
because you have private inputs and private state, so you can implement card games, for
mhm,
example, on secret, which is something that you can't implement anywhere else because if we play poker against each other, I can immediately see your hands on chain.
mhm,
Um, so with card games, for example, um, we can keep the deck private and each other hands private until the stage in the game where we expose the hands.
right.
Um, Also, what like privacy gives you is randomness.
Mhm,
Uh, because you have private state for contracts, they can store uh, entropy seed for random number generation. And
mhm,
you can generate random numbers without the game participants being able to predict it. Like on
mhm,
Ethereum and public blockchains, you can't do that because everyone will know what the next random number will be because the
mhm,
entropy is public. So on Secret, for example, you can shuffle a deck of cards, which is something that you can't do anywhere else. You can generate random like mazes and roll dice. And just like if we get back to the example like earlier, if we have a battle on chain in a game, you can use randomness to add chaos to the battle.
mhm,
Maybe randomly you decide if there's rain in the middle of the battle. Um, and maybe your character is more powerful than mine, but randomly, once in a while, I get an advantage. You can really
mhm,
enhance the in-game experience like that.
mhm.
Um, yeah,
Um, Made me wonder because there is one thing, and I want to speculate. It's casino game that was done on Juno, right? I think they have the NFTs are on the secret network, and it has the dice game, and it claims to be random. But what you are saying now, it's impossible because it's not on secret. So actually,
the raccoon
someone can
one,
predict. Sorry.
the raccoon one.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't know how they achieve randomness, but if they are doing it on chain, then it can be predicted. Yeah,
So you say if you try hard enough, you could win every single game there. because you are experienced person and could ruin their project, and with that, that's not the good thing they did.
Like I don't know, it's a fun to explore. I think
Mm-hmm.
if there's not a lot of money at stake,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a couple of bucks here and there, then no one will try to cheat because
Mm-hmm.
it's just fun. But if there's like $1 million out there that you can win by rolling dice,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, some people. I'm sure that some people will find the ways to predict
Right.
the dice roll.
Yeah. Um. There is a lot of new private networks coming. I heard just a few. So um, Secret is actually what has like probably one of the first mover advantage, because I think Secret as Enigma was even like one of the first chains on Cosmos. I remember searching in 2020, there was already Enigma, like and few like the ecosystem was much smaller, but there is much other coming, like Anoma Network, I think name. Non-Cosmos SDK, I think, is the Ironfish. So uh, do you know any um do you know that what are the differences? Does they offer any advantage over Secret, or is there any advantage that Secret has over them?
Like I don't really know. Like I know that Nim are doing. They are just hiding the. I think it's a mixnet,
Hmm.
which means that the senders of the transactions are private, but then the transaction itself is public, so you can see. For example, if I send you tokens, then you can see that I am the one that sent it, but you can see that you got like 10 tokens,
Hmm.
for example. So I think that's what Nim are doing. Um, Not sure about the rest. Like, not sure if they are doing computational privacy or
Yeah.
transactional privacy, or stuff in the middle. Like, sorry, I'm not sure.
Hmm. Someone's asking, any research and development on removing permits and viewing keys from queries?
Yeah, so maybe just to recap, uh, viewing keys and permits are ways for you to query the contract about your balance or your NFT ownership. So it's usually in tokens, in
Mm-hmm.
SNP20 tokens, which are like CW20 tokens or ERC20 tokens, and NFTs. And that's because, for example, the balance is private. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to prove to the contract that you are the owner of the wallet.
Mm-hmm.
So a viewing key is just a password. You store
Mm-hmm.
a password in the contract, and then next time that you query your balance, you also send the password, and the contract verifies the password and then returns the balance privately to you. So private viewing keys have a really bad UX, and were the first implementation of this kind of access control to balances. And then we invented permits, which is which is better than viewing keys because you don't need to store the password in the contract in the first place. You just need to sign a piece of data that proves to the contract that you are the owner of the wallet. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so viewing keys are a real UX problem because a lot of old tokens are still using viewing keys and don't support permits. So yeah, we are planning on making contracts upgradable, and then we'll be able to add permits to tokens, to all tokens, and you won't need to use viewing keys anymore.
Mm-hmm. So I was asking, this is like back to the casino. Do we even need a blockchain to do all that stuff? Because I think for the casinos, like the non-blockchain experience is way better because it's like simply way faster, and you can
Uh,
generate randomness with that. No.
yeah, so in like Web2 casinos, you have to trust the server.
Mm-hmm.
You have to trust the dealer, for example. where in blockchain you don't have to trust anyone. Like the contract
Mm-hmm.
is open source, and you can verify that like it implements the real gameplay. And also on online like poker casinos, there's a real problem in withdrawing the funds,
Mm-hmm.
because banks don't like online gambling. It's debatable whether poker is really gambling. I think it's more of a game of skill than luck. But
Yeah.
then withdrawing the money back to banks is very, very hard. And also, if you want to withdraw, for example, to Bitcoin or Ethereum, you also have to trust the online casino to send you the Bitcoin. Like they can drag you and take your Bitcoins and not let you withdraw it, redeem it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you implement this on chain, you can just when you win the game, the money is sent to you from the contract. It's not stored in any like centralized entity.
You mention poker quite often. Do you play yourself?
Like I don't play, but I think I know the rules, and I also implemented something like that on Secret. I think it's just like a very good example, because it shows the randomness capabilities of Secret Network and the privacy of like the
Mm-hmm.
deck of the hands capability of Secret
Right.
Networks. So it's just like a very good example, in my opinion.
Are you familiarized with the poker websites? I don't know if like Poker Stars still exists, but I was using it. And you say about implementing something to secret, and yeah, like I do see the poker games maybe existing in the blockchain, but how do you solve the certain issues with that? Right. I understand the tokens would be the money that you use in the game. Um, but how do you solve the issues, for example, with the slow network? Um, which is really huge issue because like when I played on Poker Stars, for example, right, and you play the tournament, it has to be seamless. It has to be fast. The decision of the bet, like you have to have certain number of seconds to do that. The cards have to be distributed in certain time. So how would you be able to develop this kind of game on the blockchain and deliver the same or better experience than the centralized entities on the web 2 deliver?
Yeah, so like I agree with you that on Web 2, the UX can be better, maybe in
Hmm.
the in-game experience. But I think that a good UI in Web 3 can go a long way. Um, so yeah, for example, um, like on Cosmos, 6 seconds to commit a transactions, you can make it like look seamless in the UI. There's a thing called optimistic feedback.
Hmm.
So, for example, this is what Facebook are doing when you submit a comment. It
Yeah.
immediately shows that the comment is good, and then in the background they are trying to really send the comment to the server. So we can do something like that. Then you can implement, for example, each player have 1 minute to play, and then when that minute passes, other players can kick that player off the table. In Web 2, you can have the server doing that, but in Web 3, you don't have a server. So I think you can overcome a lot of issues with good UI.
Hmm. Do you really can make it 6 seconds seamless? Because I give you example, right? There is let's say you play on like online poker and there's 8 people at the table and 6 of them choose the pass before the turn comes. So when it goes and there's 6 people, the pass is quickly done automatically.
Yeah.
I believe it would not be possible because you would wait 6 seconds for every single one of them and would make everyone bored completely of the game, right?
Yeah, I
Is it
agree with
correct?
you. Like that's a UX issue that probably
Mm-hmm.
but someone needs to think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
it would have to be below seconds, which I think we can probably do something on top of that, right? And have the smart contract on top that is faster, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Like I need to think about it. Maybe you can commit your intention to pass
Yeah.
before your turn, and then the contract can like skip your turn if the intention is like implemented, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Right.
that's a UX issue that I'm sure can be solved. But yeah, I
Hmm.
agree that Web 2 UX is right now is a lot better than Web 3 UX. It's
Yeah.
not just like a problem on secret.
Hmm.
But you also need to look at the benefits, like immediate settlement of transactions. Like you don't have issues with withdrawing your balance to your wallet, and also you don't have to trust the server to fairly shuffle the deck and like
Hmm.
distribute cards and stuff like that.
Yeah. Um. I wonder if maybe your experience with the controversial props on other networks that maybe discuss the taking custody over others' wallet, right? That like okay, like there was Prop 16 on Juno, right? Or the later Prop 20 that sees the can you avoid that on secret network with the governance or not because of the
Like I don't know that exact problem, no, because
right.
I think the tokens were staked.
Yeah, so
But if someone keeps like private tokens in secret, we no one can knows. If the chain decides to vote to like fork and
mhm,
everything can be changed
yeah,
uh, in a fork. But if the tokens are private and you don't know who owns the token, then it's a bit of an issue to like seize the tokens.
yeah, yeah, I understand. So the better is just don't merge to one wallet and don't like do stupid moves that could bring exposure to you, I guess.
Yeah, like I'm not sure.
Right.
I'm not very familiar with what's happened on Juno.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm more of a developer and less like also on secret. I'm less like in the weeds of what happens on
yeah.
governance. But
Um
yeah, that's interesting.
you you about to do the upgrade of secret, right? Or the upgrade of the Cosmos because right?
Yeah,
Shockwave
so
upgrade
yeah,
is
so right now we have an old version of Cosmosm like
mm-hmm,
since September of 2020, and like in a month or so we are going to add Cosmosm V1, which is the latest,
mm-hmm,
which is what Juno has and Osmosis has. But we are also going to support old contracts in parallel to new contracts.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a big upgrade, a bit scary, but yeah, it's going to be very very good, I think, for the secret ecosystem.
What could go wrong? You said it's scary.
Yeah, because it's not just like taking the current Cosmos implementation,
Mm-hmm.
because we have to re-implement everything, the entire core inside of SGX and add the privacy features to
Mm-hmm.
Cosmos, and then we have to also support the old version of Cosmos in parallel. So old contracts will still keep working.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can also call an old contract from from a new contract. So we
Mm-hmm.
also have to implement that part, which is a bit hard. So what when I was saying it's scary, I meant that like a lot of changes that no one else has. Um, so a bit of uncharted territory.
Mm-hmm. So with this upgrade, what will get better with
Yeah,
that
so
upgrade?
that's gonna be very cool. So Cosmos and
Mhm.
V1, first of all, it's a much more pleasant experience for developers. It's also going to align Secret with Terra, Juno, and Osmosis. So developers will be able to move between these networks and
Mhm.
implement their contracts wherever they feel it's most appropriate for the application. Um, and then, for example, Cosmos V1 adds IBC contracts.
Mhm.
So current tokens on Secret Network will be able to go over IBC to Osmosis to tap to the liquidity there. So Shade, Silk, Sienna, Alter, Jackal, all of these um, will be able to tap into the IBC liquidity.
So,
Uh,
so sorry to stop you. So now I will be able to take because that will be CW, secret CW, right? I mean CW. So essentially, you will have the same contracts, and you can move them to Juno, and Juno can move to the secret, right? And they can both seamlessly interact,
yeah,
and they are both native to each other, right? Because this is CW, so it's native actually for both networks.
yeah, yeah. That's correct.
That that's really cool because as of now, like you only have the CW on like Juno essentially. I think maybe some on Terra, but like
We have on secret as well, but we can send it anywhere except for in
yeah,
secret because we don't have IBC contracts. Then the
yeah.
other side of IBC contracts is that now we'll be able to send cross-chain contract calls between Juno and secret.
Hmm.
So, for example, a contract on Juno will be able to send private contract calls on secret. So, for
Hmm.
example, a voting contract on DAO will be able
Hmm.
to use a voting contract on secret to do private voting.
Right.
Um, so that's really cool.
Hmm.
Um, Also, like contracts on Juno will be able uh, to get random numbers from secret network,
Hmm.
just like Ethereum contracts can ask random number from Chainlink, for example.
So with that, both networks kind of complement each other, right? And
Yeah, also secret network contracts will be able to call Juno contracts and
hmm.
like tap to the functionality over at
Hmm.
Juno. So yeah,
Hmm. For developers who want to work, I think you just like improved the documentation recently. Is it correct?
yeah, we are doing a lot of work improving the documentation.
Mm-hmm.
We have I think an on-chain committee which
Mm-hmm.
receives like funding from the community pool to improve the documentation. We're also in parallel to the upgrade,
Mm-hmm.
migrating all of our documentation from the old contracts to the new
Mm-hmm.
CosmWasm contracts. So yeah, a lot of action there too.
Um, uh, how deep pockets have secret network to how can it support developers?
Wow, like I don't know. We have a new Terra fund for
Uh-huh.
Terra casualties
How
to
much
develop.
money is there?
There's like 2 million secret, right?
Mm-hmm. And we lost Asaf. It's very sad. He lost internet. I think he will come back. Hey, crypto warrior. I think that's not French accent. That's Israeli accent. Um, uh, I'm gonna send the link so he can come back. Glad to see bad kids. Um, I haven't been buying new ones. I have way too many. No, it was before. It was before he was accused of being French. Um, how are you guys doing? If you have any questions, I think we do maybe 20 minutes more, and then we'll be able to finish. Let me see. It might take a few minutes because it was the power outage, so he's gonna boot the router, and he will come back. By the way, there's 18 people. I'm really glad you guys joined. Uh, to be honest, at the start of the chat, I was a little didn't know how to start. You could see there was a little bit lack of my confidence, but I think we did got better and ease out the conversation. He went private. He's here, but we cannot see him. Uh, we don't talk Juno. We talk secret now. We talk secret here. By the way, so tired today. I was playing with the AI art today, and it ruins my brain because you can never get the art in the way you want. I will show you example as we're waiting for him. What do you guys think? I was making the art for the wolf pack, my new um my new NFT DAO, and I was making the really scary and dangerous wolves. What do you guys think of this art? Look, and I think we can partner with raccoons, and we will have these wolves as the bodyguards in the casino. What do you guys think? How's the my wolf pack DAO? And we are back.
Full of glitches.
It's fine. It happens. Um, there's some questions, but what we were talking about money, right? We were talking about money.
Probably.
Uh, Um, and Secret got some extra funding recently, or it's not responsible because it's foundation responsible for raising money, or it's Secret Labs.
Yeah,
So.
it's
Mm-hmm.
so Secret Labs has some money for grants. Like I don't know how much,
Mm-hmm.
but it was around I think uh, maybe $20 million or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe less right now. And then we have the on-chain fund of for Terra developers,
Mm-hmm.
and also it was like $400 million back, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
at the
True.
bull market. I don't know how much it's right now. It's external investors that like we can connect teams with the external
Mm-hmm.
investors, and they have that money to invest if they wish to. And I think like some teams have raised money
Mm-hmm.
for that, like at least like maybe 15 or $20 million, but I don't know the details.
Mm-hmm. So someone asking the question, I think it's maybe valid because I do feel there is not enough activity in the secret DeFi. And I wonder if you know how to maybe solve it. Maybe it's the user experience issue. Is there some improvements on this side trying to bring users to the DeFi?
Yeah, so we had Secret Swap,
Mm-hmm.
which was a community project, and now pretty much abandoned and looking for a new home.
Mm-hmm.
And the UX was like so.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Sienna Swap, which raised I think $11 million.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and they are building. They have an AMM, and they are building a lending protocol and a launchpad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we have that, and then we have like someone in the comments says button swap, which is a swap aggregator.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, like I don't really have a comment on why it's like I don't think it's dead, but I think there's much room for improvement. And I don't think that the secret DeFi ecosystem needs to compete like with, for example, other ecosystems because
Mm-hmm.
we can explore privacy features, like new privacy features that other ecosystems
Mm-hmm.
can't explore. So, for example, Shade
Yeah,
are work.
please do, because there is like the DeFi on the DeFi that is on Secret, Shade, Sienna, and someone mentioning Polymer, right? Like, are they
Yeah,
similar,
so
different? What they do? Yeah.
like again, I don't know the details of their implementation. Shade are implementing an array of DeFi
Mm-hmm.
applications, and they are using the privacy features that Secret Network gives. But I'm not sure how. I'm still like I'm also waiting to hear the details.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but for example, they can enhance the like privacy in AMMs and lending and stuff like that. We talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
And also Polymer, they are implementing an AMM and also adding some privacy features that I think Secret Swap and Sienna Swap don't have, but I don't have the details.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry I can't
Um,
elaborate more.
there is the other app. So someone mentioning Alter. Can you tell me of what Alter is do like?
Yeah, Alter are
And
like they are like a G Suite on chain, so they are implementing a secure messaging,
uh
and
huh.
then
How?
I think sorry.
No, like, I'm sorry because I stopped you. um, is it like messaging, like the signal? What's that?
I think that they started as an email. They wanted to implement an email
Mm-hmm.
a client server on top of Secret and store the messages privately on Secret. Like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure where they are evolving to,
Mm-hmm.
but they are still doing messaging. And I think early on they talked about implementing like features from
Mm-hmm.
G Suite, for example. Um, I don't have a good example, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Do you
more
know
like
anything?
organizational features, less like DeFi and stuff.
Right. So it's not necessarily like like you don't think it would be like quick messaging app, right? Is it even possible to um develop messaging app like on Secret,
Yeah,
or there's limitations
Alter,
with blockchain? Mm-hmm.
no limitations. I think Alter are doing this. Um, you just store the messages privately in the contract, and then the clients query the contract
Uh-huh.
for the messages.
But then isn't every message the transaction?
Yeah.
Can you
So
can you
what Alter are doing, they are doing like it's on a subscription base.
Mm-hmm.
So um, you pay them a subscription fee, a few bucks a month, and they batch the transactions on chain
Right.
for you. I don't know how they are doing privacy, like how they are implementing. Uh, I don't know how to phrase this, but like I don't know how they are making sure that Alter is not exposed to the messages themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure that they are doing something. It's not. I'm pretty sure that they are doing something to hide the messages from Alter too.
Right. Um Jackal? Well, like, have you heard of this? Jackal? What
Yeah,
does Jackal does?
Jekyll are
Jackal.
implementing. They are implementing a storage solution.
Is it something like Arweave? Like Arweave is storage, like, but it's
Yeah,
proof
I
of
don't
work,
know.
right? So it's similar way, like you can store the
I
documents,
think
yeah,
that
like
on
or
secret they are using secret network to store the encryption keys.
right, right,
So the files themselves are probably stored on Arweave or IPFS or stuff like that, and then the encryption key is on secret network.
right. And you were mentioning games. I don't know. Is there anything developed in this area, like in the games on Secret, that actually coming together?
Yeah, so I think there's Orbem Wars, which is like a tower defense game
Mm-hmm.
that's in the works, and then Bushi, they just announced. Like, I'm not sure what type of game is that.
Mm-hmm.
Please look it up on Twitter. The graphics
We're
there
trying.
looks amazing, but like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what kind of game is that. Maybe a
Trying, trying,
third.
trying to find it. Uh, but the Twitter becoming mess these days. Um, Asaf, like, what the Tel Aviv does so right with blockchain? Like, why there is so many blockchain companies in Tel Aviv? What is good about Tel Aviv there?
I don't know.
You are there. Is it that do you guys have great infrastructure of developers? Like,
Like I don't know. Are there a lot of blockchain companies in Tel Aviv?
I don't know. The Tel Aviv is like the tech hub. Like, like the Tel Aviv, like essentially it become very successful because of like it's been on the forefront of innovation, and it seems there's quite some companies in Tel Aviv as well. I think. Well,
Yeah, a lot
Secret
of
Masters, yeah,
cybersecurity companies.
yeah,
On Secret, you can argue that we are also doing like security work,
yeah.
on chain security, and so yeah, I don't know. It's just the culture here. Like you must join the military when you're 18, and then there's a lot of like tech work in the military, a lot of
Yes.
cybersecurity in the military, and then when you join the workforce, there's a lot of cybersecurity companies in the private sector.
Mm-hmm.
So a big concentration in Tel Aviv. Yeah, probably
I,
some.
I, I, mm-hmm. I
Just
was fast. Sorry.
go ahead.
No, like I was just always fascinated with like Israel, how they were able to develop and thrive in this like very difficult environment of essentially being surrounded by the enemies of the right. Um,
Yeah, I think when you have to join to the army at a young age, and then you get a lot of responsibility,
mm-hmm,
like a lot of the like most of the tech work in the Israeli military is cybersecurity. And then you get the responsibility of defending against nation states like
mm-hmm,
Iran and North Korea. So you get a very good hands-on experience at a young age. Um, and then when you go to the private sector, you also have that experience. Um, let's call it with high stakes.
mm-hmm.
Um, so maybe that's a factor.
Yeah, like, is there anything that you wanted to say about Secret, but we didn't touch upon this? Something you personally excited?
I don't know. Like I don't remember. Like excited to the for the like upcoming
Uh,
upgrade. Then we have like another upgrade that will add performance to
mhm.
our WASM implementation. Um, just like nerdy stuff.
What what
Impl-
what are your and what are your favorite chains out there that you think, wow, they are doing some cool stuff?
wow, like I don't know. I can say that I really like how Juno worked during the both halts, like how
Hmm.
the team functioned. That was really
Yeah.
impressive. Um,
And
Yeah, like
and
also,
Mhm.
hmm?
Go on.
Also love the work that Osmosis are doing, like in the
Mhm.
SDK and how they are implementing stuff. You know, I'm a coder, so I like the nasty stuff. So I look in the code, and that's what impresses me. So so yeah.
So any because that's CW, right? Is there any applications on Juno, like because I'm sure you look there what they do, right? Like the code wise with the contracts and applications. Did you found anything cool there among these apps that were being developed on Juno?
I really didn't use a lot of apps. Uh,
Mhm.
I checked out DAO and it looks really cool, but other than that, like, I'm sorry, like I don't know.
So so are we gonna get secret DAOs with DAO?
We do have DAOs on Secret that are using private votings. I hope that
Mm-hmm.
DAO that will be able to implement that connection using IBC and allow DAOs to implement private voting.
Mm-hmm.
I
Like
can say that on the DAOs on Secret Network, where when you have private voting, then the vote is much more balanced. Like you get a lot of 60-40 votes, and on chain, for example, on the like native Cosmos governance, you usually see like 98%
yeah,
yes or like 99% no, because I think that's part of the vote being public. Like you see the
yeah.
big names, the big players, like vote yes, and you don't wanna like vote
It
against them, I guess.
it is annoying actually when you see 98%. Everyone would be happy, but I'm like, so what? Everyone is like alike with each other? I want different people. I want, confused community. Like would be but like once the DAO is public, so like I believe you will be able to use all of the tools they have. I know they were building like like more options of voting, so you can have first choice, second choice. So will you be able to, for example, like bring that tooling to secret and allows that? Like I think that would be cool that you have this secret DAOs plus you have more options of the governance would be really cool.
Yeah, yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Hmm.
Hopefully, yeah, it will. We can bring this to secret, but yeah, maybe first step is to allow private voting on Juno via secret.
I'd
Um,
love that.
yeah,
Like because we had some controversial props and it's like, hey, should I vote this way, but what if I voted this way and they do something bad to me, right? That's actually horrible.
yeah, yeah, and also when you come to vote and you see like 95% voting yes, like it gives you less of an incentive to read the actual proposal. And then
Yeah,
if you want to vote no, then you say like, what's the point? Everyone is voting yes.
yeah.
So yeah,
uh, there was proposal, I think it was 69, proposal 69, that those who voted no with veto received actually slightly more tokens as the reward of the new token, the Noland, no token.
yeah, I've
Uh
heard about it on the Cosmos Hub, right?
yes, so this is Jake Won, co-founder of Cosmos, who later left the Tendermint. I think there's new Tendermint now, but he's making his own chain, and he rewarded more people who vote certain way. But with secret voting, you could actually hide that and not notice. That would be solution to actually bribing people via governance, because that's what it is, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Hmm.
right. Um, yeah,
That's something I would be excited. Like, so I didn't think of secret, but actually bringing the privacy to voting and the governance would be amazing feature, because it removes all of the grifters from from that. I think. Okay.
yeah.
Asaf, thank you very much. I hope I didn't disappoint you too much with my barely any knowledge of technicalities. That's why I tried to ask other stuff, because like I'm just a user, right? I'm not dev. And I just hope to, bring these apps and platforms to help to understand maybe the way I try to understand them. So,
No,
and
like I really enjoyed our conversation. I think you were
Mhm.
awesome. Had very good
Thank you.
questions. Like I hope I answered most of them.
Yeah,
um,
I'm gonna cut out the first 8 minutes, I guess. We'll see. It wasn't too bad. Like we are struggling with the audio for those uh who didn't like. Sorry, last question with the private voting. So asking, you wouldn't see how your validator voted. Also, you could do it with the seek, right?
yeah. So yeah, the voting right now will be on a contract and not the native governance of the chain. But in the future, yeah, we can maybe bring that to the native governance module. Um, but maybe to comment on that, I think I'm not sure if the validator should like get the voting power of their delegators. Um, like I think it's two different things that don't need to be mixed together. Um,
How would you split that?
just don't everyone votes. You vote, and your vote is the amount of tokens that you delegate. Um, but don't let the validator vote for yourself. So if the validator vote, it will just use their
Mhm.
voting power, their delegated voting power. Um,
But that brings issue, because if validator don't vote, it might be difficult to reach the quorum because community is not engaged, right? So
I
that's
think
another.
that was the concern at first of the
Mhm.
Cosmos developers that there won't be enough engagement. But
Yeah.
I think right now, like we're seeing a very very big turnout to vote on on-chain governance. So
Mhm.
maybe it's not an issue right now. Maybe we just need to adjust the quorum parameters.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that's giving validators too much power and like
Mhm.
unnecessary because
Agree.
like there's the proof of stake side of things where you delegate to the validator and you get slashed if the validator misbehaves. And then there's
Mhm.
the governance side of things, which I think is unrelated. So, like, why do validators have to get that much power? Um, because, like, I don't know.
I do see, because the validators really, like, even from private chats, they do want power, right? And this creates the competition with them, and then they fight with the fees, because hey, I'm gonna offer this because I will have more power. I have more power. I can vote in the way to benefit what I'm building my pro, and it's like create all of this weird um consequences of it. Hmm.
Yeah, so I think
Good.
I think the way to go is to like don't let the validator vote for the
Mm-hmm.
delegators, and
Mm-hmm.
the validators should benefit from like if they are a good validator, they don't misbehave, they have a good uptime, they don't get slashes, then they will get more delegations because they get higher APR that way by not
Mm-hmm.
getting slashed and having a good uptime.
Mm-hmm.
So they get like they benefit from it financially from the commission. Um, right now, they also benefit from the voting power, which I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure is a good thing. But yeah, maybe just my opinion. But like I said earlier, I'm not that like I'm not that into
Yeah.
the governance processes of networks. So
No,
like I
but
don't
it's
know.
cool because no one actually talk about this, and I do think maybe um maybe there could be some discussion around this, right? Um so like there is some question, but like I think maybe we should finish why add more staking reward? It's from inflation, so I think we can ignore
Why
maybe.
why does Juno have such a big inflation? I think.
Yeah,
That's
like that's.
hurting you guys. Like, yeah,
Do you think so? That also incentivizes people to stake. What's the inflation on Secret?
it's 15%, which translate to like
Yeah.
22% APR.
Oh,
But
so a lot of staking. A lot of big part of the network is staking, no?
I think,
70
yeah,
over.
yeah, maybe
Yeah, nice.
65% staked.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so that secures the network. Like, I don't know. I think in a bull market, maybe a high inflation is good. But
Hmm.
in a bear market, like right now, inflation is really hurting like Juno and
Yeah,
Osmosis, I think,
yeah.
in terms of
Is
price.
is the inflation going down on Secret, or it's stable every year?
It's between 15 and 7%, and then if the
Right.
bonding ratio is above 67%, then it will start going down.
Yeah.
Um,
And you think that's the good inflation? The
I don't know, like I'm not really like I'm not an expert on
Yeah.
tokenomics and stuff. Like I don't know, but I think the Juno price really crashed, like from 44, I think,
Yeah.
to what it's now, and maybe like a more balanced inflation um,
It.
will have
Mhm.
better result for the price.
Yeah. It's soon. In 3 months is halving, which will be inflation at 20%. Should bring down some. Depends on how many people, of course, will bond. But yeah, it actually crashed from like 45 to $2. It's
Wow.
it's
Yeah,
yeah,
so
like
that's
so.
20x secret
Now
crash.
it's
Like,
$6. Now it's six, right? So it's better, but it was
ah,
it was painful to watch, right? Because you but it's also like quite weird because Secret has 7 to 15 and it's stable. And I don't understand why like they try to drop the inflation so much. So what happens to Juno? It goes from like in the first year from 40% to like zero in 12 years, which is
yeah, so
or around the
secret is kind of like
why?
Juno is a new chain, so maybe they
Yeah.
benefit from the mistakes of others. Like when we launched Secret Network back in like February of 2020, the only chain that was the hub, and they had like 7% inflation.
Yeah. Uh,
And then over the year, we like decided on 15%, and it stayed that way. Like I don't know,
mhm.
it's 15% for the past 2.5 years, I think. So
I actually I like the hub inflation, and I think it shouldn't be like maybe it shouldn't be too high, but also it shouldn't go from high to like nothing. Maybe like should be some balance. It's this weird. Um,
yeah,
not.
so yeah, the goal of inflation is to incentivize
Mhm.
staking. So like I don't know if inflation is bad, but too much inflation and people will stake just to dump the token.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's
Um.
a balance there.
So someone said the secret crashed from 20 to 1. It didn't crash from 20 to 1. It was 10 at the top. So
Yeah,
that's
it was
it
10
was
back in November, and then
yeah.
steadily dropped to 6, and then like crashed from 6 to 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I think it's a good time to finish. By the way, there was not sure if you've seen some people were arguing in the comments, calling each other names.
Oi,
So it sometimes happens. A little
yeah.
area. Okay, so Asaf, thank you again. I hope your family is healthy because I know there was some uh issues. So I
No,
hope it's all
yeah, all
yeah,
is good. Yeah, my daughter had a little fever, but she's good
yeah,
now. You can see her playing
yeah.
toys.
Okay. So I guess enjoy the rest of your day and thank you for this chat. I hope I can explore secret more and bring some news as the time progress.
Yeah,
So
thank
thanks
you
a lot.
for having me. Was really
Thank you.
fun. Yeah.
That's good to know. Thank you. Take care.